Hello, YouTube. Hello, TikTok. I am going to speak about actually a TikTok I posted last night. So, for all my TikTokers, definitely go and watch. If you have a fear of judgment, this is something that you're going to want to watch. And I want to just dive into it a little bit today because I got a couple of really good comments. And basically, what I was saying is when you are changing your life, when you are doing something that is different to what you've always done, something that is different to what other people expect of you, it is not going to be normal in their perception. Like they're going to perceive it as one of the most I've just realized like the camera is not flipped on YouTube and it looks so weird. It looks all right here on a TikTok, but so weird here. Let me bring you both into the front. There we go. Oh, I just got a live restriction thing. There we go. Okay. So as I was saying, anyway, I digress. A little bit distracted. But when you are changing your life, when you are doing something that is different to what you've always done, maybe that's starting a business, why don't you just look in the middle of both cameras? Because I don't want to set it up with both cameras. That's why. When you are changing your life, you're starting a business, you are doing something that is like a different job. Maybe you went to university and maybe you studied, I don't know, business, but now you are starting maybe you're starting a business in, let's say you went to university to do engineering and now you've started a business where you're making jewelry, right? What are people going to say about you? What are people going to perceive of you? This is what I just want you to kind of like hold the energy of just for a moment, to think of of the amount of time we spend worrying about other people's perceptions and what they classify as normal. Maybe you're leaving a long term relationship after 10 years, and people think that's not normal because you should be getting married instead of going to travel the world and leaving this relationship. So, I just want you to start to be very, very mindful of the way that people are perceiving you, but not in the sense of like, I'm going to care a lot about that or I'm going to take that on board as fact, because I think that when we are doing something different to the norm and doing something out of other people's expectations, what normally starts to happen is we take their opinions, we take their biases as fact. Remember, everyone is living through the lens of their own belief system. Everyone is living through the lens of their own nervous system, whether their nervous system is quite regulated, whether it's quite neutral, whether it's dysregulated, if they're in fight or flight, in their freeze mode. Every single person, no matter how much they care about you, love you, it could be a stranger on the internet, it can be your mum, but they are living life through the lens of their own belief system and nervous system. So when they look at you and they look at your choices and they look at your behaviors and they look at your actions, of course they're going to have a perception, if it is not in alignment with their belief system, that it is wrong or that it is not normal or that it's a weird thing to do. And so, what I want you to be very aware of is you're always going to attract that. It may feel like the best thing for you to do. And when you make a choice and it's really, really, really scary. And it's like maybe it is leaving a relationship after 8 years. Maybe it is quitting the job you're about to get a huge promotion for, but you just know deep down it's not the right thing for you. But then other people might be like, I've experienced this with friends group where actually quite recently, where a friend was offered a big promotion at work with a substantial jump in money, and shared this in the friendship group. And one of our other friends who values more money, who values more status in the workplace, they thought it was wild that this friend was not taking the promotion, was not taking the amount of money. And we're going to go into values in just a second, but the interesting thing here is the friend who valued the status and the money is the friend who is perceiving what the other friend is doing as not normal. Like it's not normal to reject a promotion. It's not normal to take more money from the job that you've been working at. And so this is just a really, really tangible real life example of no matter what we choose, it's not going to be seen as normal by a lot of people in our circle. This is why, as we up level, I said in my TikTok as well, new levels, new devils. I wish I could take the credit for that saying. I'm actually not sure who said it, but I really wish I could take the credit for that saying. But when you reach a new level, there's always going to be new devils, meaning there's always going to be different people, different environments, different challenges, different belief systems. And so, if you are willing to make a change, if you are so ready to make a change, if you're ready to do something different in your life, if you're ready to switch up your entire life, then be ready for the new challenges. I think sometimes that we have in our mind that when we are making a change and when it feels really, really good within our body and our nervous system, that it should be like this effortless, breezy situation. It's just not the case. Change is one of the most dysregulating things that you can ever experience in your life. This isn't spoken about enough. In fact, after this, I actually might write a thread or something on this because it's just not spoken about enough. That change is one of the most dysregulating things. So on top of that, like understanding that and going through those motions, on you add on to that people's perceptions of you. If you want to live a life that's different to most people, and if you're tuning into this and you're watching this, you're a high achiever. You're probably someone that has big visions for your life. You want to, you know, do big inspirational things that a lot of people aren't doing. Most of society just wake up and they repeat the same things day in and day out. And I don't mean not to have a routine or a ritual or anything like that. Like, I definitely have my routines and my rituals. But what I mean is, most people just think they have no other choice, but they have these desires to own a gallery, an art gallery, or they have these desires to go travel for 6 months in Southeast Asia, or they have these desires to leave their corporate 9 to 5 finance job and start the business where they're selling t-shirts. I don't know, maybe that's whatever inspires you, but it's not seen as normal by the people around them, and it's not seen as normal as society to do that. Society tells us, the masses tells us, the fears that's instilled inside of us is all about, you must get up, go to a job that you hate, but you're earning money, pay your mortgage, pay your bills, get married, have kids, rinse and repeat, keep going. And so many people live in these cycles where they're just miserable because they're too afraid to push back on what people are going to say about them. They're too afraid to push back on what people are going to perceive of them and how they are going to be seen. When I quit my job and I moved to Bali and I started a business, for the first couple of years, I heard, even sometimes now, occasionally, I will hear things, friends in my ear or making comments. But for the first couple of years, it was not normal. When I started to become a coach, the coaching industry wasn't that much of a thing. There were, the coaches like Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, Oprah, that type of personal development. Then there was like Amy Porterfield, Jay Shetty was coming to light. So it was like, it was not normal for, let's say, like a regular, like not a celebrity name, to do that, to go into a coaching space. And so for the first couple of years, I had lots of comments from strangers on the internet, from my friends, of like, this is weird. Are you even making real money? Or like, you're showing up on social media, or you're always creating content. It's not normal for people to go outside the box. It's not normal for people to do something different to what they've always been taught. We grow up and we learn how we should live, how we should create our life. We grow up and we learn that this is the only right way to do something. We grow up and we learn that we need to do things on autopilot, even though you may not want to admit it, even though it doesn't seem like it. Something that I explain to my clients is good autopilot. And I share this in my mastermind. Well, Mastering Mastermind, it's Woman Mastering Mastermind. It's all about mastering yourself as a woman, elevating your success and your fulfillment in your wealth, your career, your relationships through subconscious reprogramming. And one thing I always speak about is your ability, your ability to push through other people's perceptions, your ability to become a leader instead of a follower is going to feel very uncomfortable, probably for the rest of your life. It's going to feel like it's wrong. And so we have to constantly, if we have these dreams and desires of who we want to be in life and what we want to start, we need to be very, very mindful of our ability to actually push back against what's always been seen as the normal thing in life. And so I know a lot of you are watching this and you may think, okay, but like, how do I just not care about what my mom thinks? How do I not care about what my friends thinks? You need to practice that muscle. It's like, going to the gym and actually building your muscles. You need to practice that muscle of the resilience. But then, like I was saying about the new levels, new devils, you need to be able to understand when you need to start to change your environment, your friends. Sometimes when you're changing things, it can be very, very lonely. It can feel very, very isolating. Something again that, not a lot of people in the industry, whether it is coaching, whether they've got a product based business, brick and mortar, that it can be very isolating, that it can be very lonely at times to go against what everyone else thinks. I've had so many conversations with people who they want to do something. I had one recently in December in a social situation. I met this person a couple of times. One of their dreams was to like travel all of Australia in like a caravan with their partner. And when I said why they can't, they said, oh, I can't like leave my job for that long, or like, what am I going to do about money? And so they live in this cycle for the rest of their life. And then you get to 50 and you think, why didn't I just take the chance and travel? Or why didn't I do something to create more money? Why didn't I do something to create the opportunity to be able to do that? And it's because part of the reason, when we have the excuse, like, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have the skills, I don't have the resource, I don't have the energy, it really stems down to a couple of things: your fear of failure, your fear of success, and your fear of judgment. I've done separate episodes on each of these on my podcast, the Jessica Pinili podcast. So definitely go and binge listen to those, because they're important to understand what is actually holding you back. 9.9 times out of 10, anyone who uses those excuses for me is just they have a fear of the success, the failure, or the judgment. And so right now, today, as I'm speaking to you about the fear of judgment, it's like, how do I push through this? You either accept that there's going to be a very lonely period of your life, or you cut out all the noise and you know that these people, you're a reflection, you're mirroring back to them something inside of them, that they're jealous that they can't take action. If you want a life that's different from, the standard sleep, eat, work, repeat, and it's boring, it's monotonous, it's not exciting, it's not something that excites you when you wake up. If you want something different to that, because that's what the world's built on right now, the masses, instilling in fear, then you need to actually get very, very comfortable with other people saying that what you're doing isn't normal. And then you need to get very, very comfortable by realizing what you're doing isn't normal. I came to this realization maybe a year and a half ago, where I really had to settle the fact, like, what I'm doing isn't normal. I'm going live, it's 10 a.m. on a Friday. I've been laying in bed all morning with my partner, having a coffee, eating breakfast, did a bit of my morning routine. And now I'm going live. Then I'm going to go to the gym. Then I'm going to go do a bit of shopping. It's not normal to do this. It's not. It sounds cool and a lot of people want it. I'm not saying like this is the way to live or whatever. Like, your perception could be waking up at 4 a.m. and running a half marathon, But what I'm saying is, like, this isn't normal to a lot of people. A lot of people in the world would love to have this. I would love to have the freedom. I'm talking about the freedom and the opportunities. But people don't go for it because they don't allow themselves to sit with the uncomfortable acceptance that it's not normal. The judgment is always going to come up every time you are choosing to change yourself and to do something out of the stock standard mold that we've been told, that's been put into our belief system, that that's the way to do it, that this is how you should do it, that this is how you should make money, this is the only way you can make money, this is the only way you can, if you have a business, run a business. And it's not. And so I wanted to share that today as a reminder to everyone that what you want to do, and you're watching this because you're a high achiever, you're ambitious, you want to create a magical and amazing and incredible life, but that's going to require you to get very, very uncomfortable with the feeling that what you're doing is not normal, that people are never going to see it as normal. Like I said, I definitely have more support to this day of what I've done, but to be honest, it's the support because it's worked. And now I'm 5 years in this business and people see, oh, it's working. Oh, what she's doing is a thing. What she does have a successful business. She does have this life of freedom. Of, people don't want to be a believer until they see it work. And then they start to think, oh, maybe this is possible, but they don't want to believe it's actually possible for them. They don't actually want to believe that they can make a choice. Like, it's crazy. People don't want to believe that they actually have a choice over their life. The amount of conversations I have where I'm like, do you genuinely believe, do you actually believe that you have no choice over how you're living your life and what you can do? And a lot of people think, well, I need to go to this job. I need to live here. I need to do this. I need to do that. You don't, it's like, I should do this. I should do that. It's crazy to me how many people genuinely believe they don't have a choice over their life. And that could be like a whole other life, but I just wanted to leave this with you is like whatever you want to create in your life, it's not going to be normal to a lot of people that are currently in your life, to a lot of people perceiving you, people on the internet. It's crazy as well, the amount of coaches and business, whether social media can be fake and all this, but the amount of evidence there is, right, of actual businesses, successful product, coaching, services done for you, B2B, whatever it is. And people still on the internet call on any online business a scam. And you can't make money from an online business when there is so much evidence. Like that's their belief system. But it's like people want to believe anything because it's not the normal, like, go to a 9 to 5 office job in a cubicle, be really freaking depressed and miserable and work for the man and work your way up the ladder. I'm sharing like a bit of my belief system now. Whatever you're thinking of as I've been speaking, this live has been happening, I want you to go and start to take action and know that it is uncomfortable, right? It is so uncomfortable to live in, like, oh my God, people are saying things about me. And, the quicker that you can just accept, people are going to look at you and be like, this isn't normal what you're doing. Like, you just quit your law job and now you're running an online business. Like, people are going to say it. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. I got to go. But I hope that this has helped someone, given a different perspective, and kind of given maybe like a little motivational boost. But I appreciate you. Anything to do with my coaching, my podcast, any other, like, I've got a bunch of free stuff as well. Show notes below, TikTok, Instagram, link in bio. And yeah, if you have any questions, slide into my DMs on Instagram and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.